I am in Camden, South Carolina. I am in the old Presbyterian burial grounds, which is just outside the old Quaker cemetery, which is where I will end up in a later video. I am also at the grave site. Of Agnes of Glasgow, and I will be talking about her. Agnes of Glasgow. You have to admit, that's a pretty interesting name. Her story is also pretty interesting. She was born in Glasgow, 1760, died here, 1780. Now the story goes like this. She was engaged to be married to a lieutenant in the British military. His name, Lieutenant Agnes McPherson. Well, he got shipped over here to the colonies to fight. She didn't want to be separated from him. So what she ended up doing was stowing away on a ship that was coming this way, landed in South Carolina. And I guess that by letters and stuff that she happened to know that he was in this area. Landed in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm assuming rumor or possibly a letter that said, hey, I'm going this way, led her to Camden, South Carolina. Now, that's about 100, it's well over 100 miles, under 200 though. I'm thinking 120, 130 mile trek. And you got to think, this was Carolina backcountry. This was dirt roads, not paved roads. This was during the winter time, just horrible, horrible weather. I don't know if she was prepared for that or not, but even if she was, it's still horrible weather. And you don't just walk 120 something miles or whatever miles it was. You have to have a place to stay. Keep in mind she's British. Keep in mind this is the war. I've heard, and it makes sense, that during the revolution, it was split up into 3 different camps. There were those who were for it, wanted to be free to the British, about a third. There were those who were against it, who were just fine with being under the crown, about a third. And there were those who just didn't care, about a third. So she would have to, on her way to Camden, I guess just make up an excuse. You couldn't take a chance on saying, yeah, I'm looking for my British soldier boyfriend and be talking to a patriot. Probably wouldn't be a good thing to do. In the very least, you probably wouldn't have a place to stay. So I don't know, maybe she said something like, hey, I hear that Camden needs a teacher. I'm just going to go up there and be a teacher. I don't know, I'm just making that up. It's just speculation. She got here, but there was a problem. They weren't here. They ended up here. The British did end up here. But she got here sick and she died before she got to see Lieutenant Agnes McPherson. Now I'm looking at my notes here, and yeah, it was 125 miles away, by the way. Camden is South Carolina's oldest inland city. And let me see here. Yeah, she died in February 12th to be exact. British Army didn't arrive till August. So she was a victim of bad information. And now the legend says that King Hagler and his men buried her. You know, you got to imagine that not a lot of people were friendly towards her, I would think anyway. King Hagler was an old Indian chief, a very well-known and well-respected Indian chief in this area. And so that is the story of Agnes of Glasgow. Ghost story, by the way, ghost story. I'm not big on hunting ghosts. I'm just not into that, but I did say in an earlier video that if I know of a ghost story attached to it, I will. She wanders these grounds, because the old town of Camden was right there. She wanders these grounds looking for Lieutenant Agnes McPherson.